3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, June 20th, 2019. I hope you're doing well. Bitcoin to 10,000. Everybody's talking about it. It's almost like you can't do enough videos about it. It's a huge area. So many are watching. I want to talk about this pattern that we're in right now, right? We're going on around 39 days according to this chart. The similarities between back here in the beginning of May and right here, back here leading to around 60% gains for Bitcoin. Will something similar happen? It's what I want to dig into. I want to look at the similarities. Let's jump into the charts. This is the daily chart. We're going to dig into the patterns in a second, but first I want to just start on the daily, look at momentum. Where is Bitcoin in terms of the similarities, right? We have this area around May 8th, May 9th when Bitcoin really started to move, and I want to compare these areas because that's kind of where we are today, right? So we go to May 8th, May 9th. We can first look at the RSI. So here's the RSI, the slower moving, very reliable indicator that we use often on this channel. And you can see Bitcoin getting kind of this bounce off the 70 line and beginning its move up into that overbought territory, eventually seeing resistance close to 90 on the RSI before consolidation. Similarly, right now, Bitcoin approaching that 70 line on the RSI, a little bit of upward momentum. So a lot of similarities there in terms of Bitcoin, right, compared to where we are now in terms of momentum. Let's look at the stock RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator. I'll open it up. So here we are now. We're in that overbought area on the daily, right? And you might be thinking, well, it's never a good thing to really be in that overbought territory. But if you're really using the charts at 4 hour included in finding synergies of Bitcoin in recent moves, you get an idea that it doesn't always have to be in oversold before we get a move up. Often you'll see Bitcoin move very strongly while it's in overbought territory, right? So let's go to that May 8th, May 9th territory that we're comparing, and you can see where Bitcoin was then before getting a 60% move or so to the upside, right? Similarly, Bitcoin in terms of momentum in that same area. So that's a stock RSI. And lastly, I want to look at the similarities on the MACD. Let's open up the MACD and let's see where Bitcoin was in that May 8th, May 9th area. And you can see here's the beginning of May right here. We're getting that MACD cross right here above the signal line. And then May 8th, May 9th, right around here, just seeing some upper momentum. Just got done crossing zero on the histogram. Everything looking nice on the MACD. Similarly, what was this date? June 15th, not too long ago, 5 days ago, getting the MACD cross above the signal line, upward momentum above zero on the histogram. Again, similarities in terms of Bitcoin momentum on the daily. And not saying that this is going to lead into 60% gains, but when these indicators were lining up this way back in May, that is what happened. Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's check it out. So in terms of the 4 hour, the 4 hour does a good job of displaying what we've been through thus far and the patience involved, right? We compare this pattern back here. A rising wedge broke through the bottom trend line, eventually turned into a busted wedge, right? Completed that pattern, bullish move for Bitcoin. Took 36 days of kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. Similarly, this pattern that we've been in and we've been tracking on this channel, 39 days, right? Broke to the bottom trend line. We didn't hit a target to the downside. We actually started getting momentum back up again, right? We have this 50 moving average cross below the 200 for a second on the 4 hour, not for a second, but briefly, and then back up. And similarly, back here, 50 moving average, almost approaching the 200, and then back up, right? So many similarities in Bitcoin and what it was doing. Now, from a pattern perspective, again, so many similarities. Let's first just look at what Bitcoin was doing back in this area beginning of May that we've been tracking. Here's that May 8th, May 9th area that we just looked at. This big move for Bitcoin. But you see, we have a few higher lows here. We have some resistance, this upper trend line resistance that Bitcoin kind of saw. And it almost looks like an ascending triangle confluent with this longer term trend line, right? And then finally Bitcoin broke through it. Now, similarly, what we have Bitcoin doing, a little different but very similar, is a similar pattern. This is the 4-hour chart. We have these higher lows. We have this upper trend line, which is a horizontal trend line, forming this ascending triangle. Now it's not confluent with this upper trend line as was the last pattern that we just checked out, but it's very close to this lower trend line, right? So there's a lot going on in this area from like $9,400 to $9,800. And again, the similarities are crazy when you look at Bitcoin on these charts, on these two different patterns that we have right now. So right now, what we're looking at really is on the 4-hour. We can really track this smaller ascending triangle. Let's see what happens in this area. I mean, we're right there. I guess I can move this. Let me fix this line. So that 9,350 to 9,400 is just a really big area. Right now we're trading above it. I want to see how this 4-hour closes and if we get continued upward momentum. But this is a really good pattern to watch if you're like me and you like watching, the 4-hour. I don't like going any shorter than the 4-hour. I like to see the consistencies, the strength of Bitcoin in terms of closing 4-hour bars. And this is the first one I'll be watching today. But that's pretty much it. Targets to the upside, obviously. We have a lot. We have a lot of different targets. The shorter term target, which would be this ascending triangle, actually is right around $10,000. $10,000 would be the area of resistance, not just because it's a mental number, but there's also confluence with this long-term trend line that goes all the way back to beginning of May when we had that last breakout. So that $10,000 area, if we reach it, could see some resistance. If we get through that $10,000 area, if the bulls are really stepping in with some strength, I don't think we'll be in the 10,000s for long. We might be in that environment where Bitcoin kind of goes crazy for a second. And if Bitcoin goes crazy for a second, not saying 60% gains are possible. However, to the upside, hitting that 11 or that 12,700 target that we have for this longer term pattern, definitely in play. 35% to the upside. First target though, 10,000 out of this ascending triangle. That's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. What are you looking at? How you feeling? I really appreciate you coming by. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day and God bless.